This is a very, very special episode 5 of State of the Build. I am your host, Emily Reeves, here for the Peak Auto YouTube channel, and I have Tanner Foust right across the car from me. We are in Austin, Texas at COTA, and he is here drifting the drift taxi. I heard him driving this yesterday, and it sounds completely radical. Please give us the report on this car. Tell us what the power plant is.
Well, this car was built to do Formula Drift just for a few events. We did 3 events, I think in 2015 and 3 in 2016, but was never really built to be a full competition FD car. It was always built to be a taxi. So once it did its stint, Stefan Papadakis extended the cage and made the rear seats safe, put some seats in the back and some sick bags, and did the whole deal.
You actually haul people around in this thing and sling them around
and that's
corners.
the thing, yeah, because drifting's one of those things. It's super fun from inside the car, but you hardly ever get to share it with anybody.
Right.
And so that's what this car is about, is sharing what drifting's all about from inside the car. So it's a 700 horsepower car. With drifting, first of all, there's a lot of Frankenstein builds.
Okay,
right. So
of course,
we didn't
as
have
there
a
should be.
Yes, we didn't have a Volkswagen power plant that we could plug in there, and we took an LS7 motor that was built for racing and put it in there. So it's 700 on the actual motor, and then it has a 200 shot of nitrous, makes it 900 horsepower.
Oh my god!
And it's just easy power, and it's an absolute blast to rip around.
So when does the nitrous come into play? Do you hit the nitrous when you're in a slide, or do you like?
Yeah, I live my life
nitrous?
1/4 mile at a time. I should have double clutched on that. So yeah, there's always some Fast and Furious things, but there's no 90%. There's a built into it's an AEM universal.
So when you go 90% throttle, the juice.
Yeah, and you're starting to get to the edge of my technical knowledge of this car since all the very talented guys at Papadakis Racing did their stuff.
Yes.
But it's got the universal AEM ECU, and I think at 90% it tips in basically a 200 shot. Which we don't usually carry the bottle around for taxi service, but sometimes we make an exception.
For the special riders. It's
kind of like a kick of the clutch. So if you're in a little bit too big a gear for a tighter turn, rather than like kicking the clutch on a turbo car, you can just tip past 90 and it will flare back up again.
Just adds that extra horsepower where
it changes the color of the smoke, yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
That's so
It's
cool,
so fun.
dude.
And I loved drifting for 8 years, Formula Drift, and it's so great to still have a car that I can go kind of have some fun with.
And this is your car.
Yes, it goes against my business model of driving other people's cars. Yes, it is. And so, but the nice thing about that is that I keep it in a hangar, and if there's any little small event, doesn't matter how small, it's nice that we can just fire it up and take people for rides and make some noise.
That is so cool, dude.
Yeah.
And you've been doing some movies lately too, right?
Been doing a lot of movies, especially before COVID. Some of them are out. Ford versus Ferrari and The Art of Racing in the Rain were a while ago. There's another one, a Ryan Reynolds movie called Free Guy. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be coming out soon.
You're so rad. You're so rad.
Emily.
Y'all, this is such an honor.
Well, those are, and honestly, coming from drifting, the first movie I ever did was Dukes of Hazzard in 2005, and drift, like the skills you learn drifting are perfect for movie driving, for stunt driving. Yeah, so it's fun to get to use that in.
Let's show the car. RX-7, isn't it? There is roll racing that takes place right out here on the straightaway at this track. It is insane. So Streetcar Takeover is hosting that. Optimal Ultimate Streetcar Challenge is doing their shootout. So all of these incredible cars are out there just banging the pavement up like crazy. So there's a lot to see, and I really appreciate you taking time to do this with us.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I mean, you can look around the car if you want.
Yeah, we're going to do some beauty of it so that everybody can see how rad it is.
Yeah.
And maybe someday they'd be lucky enough to be at an event where he is giving rides in this thing, because that would be gnarly.
At a Formula One track to lay tracks, I mean, they've told me to stay off the paint. That's their main thing, is like, there's some big stars out there. Don't run over our stars. And they have to fly somebody out from Europe if they want to ever repaint stuff. So trying to keep it off the paint, but having such a good time. You should go for a ride.
I think I would really, really like that.
Okay, I know a guy, so we'll make that happen. But yeah, it's super fun. It was people like about this.
That header setup is that's 8-to-1 exhaust.
So the Formula D rules didn't let you touch the firewall at all, and so there wasn't enough room for the exhaust to go back. So it has to come forward. Sounds good, right? It has to go forward.
Which was the perfect.
Yeah, so this was a long time ago. I mean, a guy showed up with a pipe bender and measuring tape and did that in 12 hours. It's all equal length sequential firing, and makes it sound like it's revving twice as high as it is. But it's one of the fun things about it.
Well, so when I heard it yesterday, I was like, there is something that's different about that car. And when you said it was an LS7, I was like, okay. I mean, I've heard LSs sound insane like this, but that is the reason why it sounds amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard 8-to-1 exhaust.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them since then. I hadn't seen any really before, the guys at the shop did this, but now you see them in off-roading and they just scream. They scream.
It is off the charts rad.
Yeah. Like a lot of drift cars now run a G-Force 4-speed, which is kind of a NASCAR style gearbox. The first car that did that was the Scion TC that I had with the NASCAR motor, which I still actually have that car. But now it's fairly standard, or they run a sequential.
And so is it an H? Is it H
It's just an H pattern.
H pattern, okay.
Big, long, giant gears, and I mean the actual competition cars now are over 1,000 horsepower, pretty standard. So, I mean they can probably do a course in just 1 or 2 gears.
Nutty.
But there's a lot of the builds are fairly. Amazing in Formula D. This is very basic compared to really how they are, but most guys don't have back seats, which is fun.
Oh my gosh, dude, amazing! Thanks for letting me sit in it too.
You can drive. You can. I've never taken a ride in this car.
I am scared
for a second. I actually can see in your eye. You're like, yeah, we're doing this. All right. Well, if you could just fill it up when you bring the car back. We'll see you
later, bud.
Right.
What an awesome time we had at COTA. Huge thanks to Tanner for joining us on that special in-person episode. We have another one of those that we shot at COTA that weekend coming up soon with Cletus McFarlane. That is a fun one as well. I hope y'all enjoyed that episode. As always, we look forward to your feedback. Please like and subscribe and comment below, and we really look forward to seeing you next time.